I'm Patrick Henry. Welcome to the Siege of Liberty. I'm your host. 2 weeks ago, we exposed the deep state's final plan to create an efficient, addicted slave class through the star-based corporate escape hatch. Tonight, we're examining the systemic failure of fiscal accountability in urban development. We're focusing on the true cost of infrastructure and the alarming rate of building destruction across America. This is not a crisis, people, okay? This is all by design. They want you to fear the weather, okay? But I'm telling you, America, the weather is just the demolition crew. It's the wrecking ball feeding the perpetual fraud machine. This is the mafia. This is the concrete club, the construction cartel, and their FEMA slush fund. They built a disposable country on purpose. They built 100 flimsy theaters instead of a Coliseum because they want the collapse. They're getting away with it because you're too busy gambling the rent on robot chickens and brushing your teeth with fried chicken toothpaste. Wake up! Tonight, we're exposing the corporate control over your city council by the Lizard Council. What, you think they only work in the clouds and the laboratories? No. Their power, it starts right here, right on the very streets with the permits to build them, okay? They don't need a bunker in the Alps, all right? They've got the city hall badges, okay? They're controlling the zoning and the planning, building the disposable America that you're standing on. It's the concrete club feeding the perpetual fraud machine. All right, let's break it. Isn't this nice? Let's break it down, people. The perpetual fraud machine, okay? Think about it, all right? Some people build buildings that last for 2,000 years, like the Parthenon, or, the Coliseum. They built these aqueducts over there in Rome that are still delivering fresh, clean water after 2,000 years, but they still don't have clean water up there in Flint, Michigan. Now, today, they're building garbage, and everyone knows it. Buildings that are designed to blow over the first time the wind blows, because they're not trying to build a society that lasts. They're trying to build a perpetual fraud machine. So check it out. They do not want quality. They do not want longevity. They want the rebuild. They want the chaos when the wind blows over their crooked Mafia-built theater. Who comes rushing in with the briefcase full of cash? You got FEMA, the Federal Emergency Money Authority, with billions of dollars just instantly on the table, just dumping out the briefcase. That's their slush fund, and that's how they're washing the money from the cocaine monkey labs and the Afghanistan wars. It's just one closed loop. It's build shoddy buildings, collapse, FEMA, rebuild. Over and over again. I'll tell you the secret the Mafia and the Lizard Council are hiding, okay? I want to build a pyramid. A great pyramid right here, deep in the heart of Texas, not for profit, not for a tax deduction, for art, for longevity, because it's there, because I want a worldwide community of people to come in and just spend some time in nature. You're just out there stacking rocks up, and you're just doing it on the weekends, getting vitamin D, proving that you can build immortality without you don't need permission. All it takes is just a little bit of dedication, okay? And you know what happens? What happens the second I buy the land, the second I tell them I'm moving dirt, they come down on me with the entire alphabet soup of control, okay? Look, Check it out. They're out there advertising it today that you don't need a building permit out there in West Texas, but all of a sudden I need a stormwater pollution prevention plan. When's the last time it even rained in West Texas, all right? We're talking about stormwater. Their stormwater prevention plan is right there at www.tdlr.texas.gov/weather. Okay, they're sucking up all the rain and they're selling it on Wall Street. Ticker symbol, Rain W is their wrecking ball whenever they need it, all right? They got hurricanes for ransom. You know, I don't need a tax ID for what I'm doing, but all of a sudden I need a construction general permit from the EPA. What are we talking about here? Okay, this is a rock garden. I just want to take some rocks and stack them in a pile, but God forbid you just go out there and do it every weekend for 50 years. It shows a little bit of planning and foresight and discipline and follow through and make it 1,000 feet high, capable of lasting until the end of time. You know, I'm not housing anyone out there, but the IBC's coming down on me. The International Building Code wants to know my occupancy levels. Occupancy for a solid stone pyramid. No one's living in there, okay? I told them, you know what I told them? I told them that it was going to house the souls of the pharaohs that they unleashed when they built the Aswan High Dam, flooding out the Nile, displacing millions of people without a thought or a care, and awakening the souls of the ancient pharaohs. They're coming out of their tombs. They've been flooded out. They got curses and plagues upon humanity. Where do you think all this stuff's coming from, all right? 100 years ago, this didn't happen. Check it out. Okay, I'm just trying to mix up a little bit of concrete out there using the dirt and the water that I own, but all of a sudden the TCEQ, Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, who's ever heard of these people? But now all of a sudden they're demanding that I comply with a new source review for my particulate matter emissions, okay? They're using the dust in the air to force me into buying concrete from their mafia buddies, okay? It's illegal to mix up the dirt and the water that you own on your own land and make concrete out of it, okay? That's the proof that politics is for entertainment purposes only, okay? They're going to use the entire alphabet of agencies to stop me from building my pyramid, but if they really cared, why don't they get out there and stop the crude cartel from punching millions of holes deep into the earth, sucking out all the oil and injecting this radioactive toxic waste back in there that's causing earthquakes, okay? They approved that in a day. But God forbid I want to get out there and build a pyramid. It's going to happen, though. It's just a new layer of challenge, you know. They never had to deal with that kind of stuff when they built the original pyramids, and that's why they got done. You know, and it's just, they fear these pyramids. They fear my pyramid. They fear your passion projects, whatever it is. They don't want you to spend every weekend doing it and doing something great, okay? It's more powerful than a nuclear bomb to these guys, all right? Because a bomb comes with a FEMA check, a whole tax loophole, a perpetual fraud machine, a crisis they can sell on the news. But my pyramid doesn't have an expiration date. They're not buying their mafia concrete. They don't know how to tax something like that. It's just a permanent thing that they can't control. But if they can't stop the truth with the permits, they'll stop it with pleasure, all right? They'll pull it off by distracting the people constantly. They got you drugged up and dumbed down, addicted to fried chicken toothpaste, so that all that you're worried about at home is what time is KFC gonna close, all right? Look at this, all right? Look at this. The government up there in Oklahoma is wasting time for a legal exemption for robot chicken fights. Okay, what does that sound like? They're preparing you for your gigabot overlords. They're conditioning you to accept technological control over biological life. Alright, you thought the cocaine addicted monkeys were bad. Now they're putting the robot cockfights right there on Main Street, and they're taking your whole paycheck with it. They got people gambling on these state-run, rigged robot chicken fights, betting the whole mortgage on it, alright? Look, okay, let me tell you something. Let me clue you into a secret, America. The whole gaming system is rigged, alright? Let's look at the evidence. Look at the headlines. Here we go, right here. Suburban Chicago man wins $800,000 in sports bets, but casinos won't pay. Wonder what happened there. Ben Affleck banned for life from the Hard Rock Casino. Okay, they're just exposing themselves, people. If you're smart enough to beat them, if you figure out the cheat code, they're gonna kick you out. The robot chicken fight, it's not just a game, America. Robot chicken fights, okay? Gambling, the rent on it. How do they come up with this stuff, alright? It's bread and circuses, okay? It's bread and circuses while they're dedicating your retirement funds to the mafia, preparing you for the moment the gigabots rule your life, okay? Wake up, people! Do you see it now? Do you see it? Okay, it's not about two parties, it's not about two countries, it's one closed criminal loop of control, and they build the disposable America for the FEMA check when the wrecking ball hits, and then the concrete club comes back in and builds another disposable building, okay? And they're distracting you the whole time with robot chicken fights, fried chicken toothpaste, the whole time we're living in Mafia-built construction. And it's all about getting the FEMA check. They're fueling all this propaganda, okay? It's not stopping at the buildings, okay? They're looking at an entire disposable America, you included, okay? You are a disposable citizen. They're forbidding the construction of my pyramid because something permanent would shatter the business model of the rebuild. And while they're doing all of this, they're handing you off this garbage toothpaste and chicken fights, keeping you distracted and docile and weak. And they were trying to crash the signal. They're trying to silence the voices. They're trying to distract you with noise and chemicals. But you and I, we have seen the scaffolding of the prison. And we know the lies. I'll be here, America. I'm going to be here every step of the way with an unblinking light. I'm shining it on the terrible truths they try to hide. I am Patrick Henry. This has been the Siege of Liberty. Do not trust the food. Do not trust your thoughts. Do not trust the concrete beneath your feet. Trust nothing. I will be here, America. The siege is on. We'll speak again.